And today I am so happy to be with my Sailmaker friend, George Thomas. And we are going to talk about making sails and maybe more about sailing.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Tell the story. You were, I think, an engineer.
Mechanical engineer.
Okay.
And I made sails as a hobby because as a young guy, I had a small sailboat, and the sails always intrigued me. And so I started dabbling in it for my own interest. And there were no sailmakers between New York and Chicago. And working as an engineer, the particular work I was doing was not overly satisfying, but I still was playing with my hobby. And my wife said one evening, well, okay, George, which you going to be, a sailmaker or an engineer? And so we decided to give it a try, and it became my lifetime job.
But now someone else owns this
Right.
business,
I
and
sold
now
it.
you're the employee.
I sold it to my employees, and they let me come and work for them. Gave them the responsibilities.
So this is such a legacy that you've created.
I think so. But I know that I was their boss, and now it's my turn to let them be my boss.
So fun. So I'd like to go into a little bit of the history about sailing. So you said you have always had this passion for sailing, right? Tell me more about this, because you were really a racer.
Right. That was my first enjoyment. We raced every Saturdays and Sundays. And then as you got a little more experience, you started to travel and race in other regattas, different areas.
And the same type of sailboat for
Yes,
many years,
I've been
right?
sailing the same type of boat since 1950.
How different are things now? It's not all just
No,
hand sewn.
It's much more high tech than it used to be. The original, when I started, the sails were cotton, and they were made of Egyptian cotton. And then the synthetics came along, and everybody experimented with anything they could. The nylons, the dacrons, the acrylics. And then as the years progressed, other things came along, Kevlar and carbon fibers and the mylar films. So everything's been tried, and today it's the carbon fiber sails that seem to be the fanciest for the racing sailor. The basic day sailing person still wants the Dacron polyester sails, which has proved very effective. Originally, there were no computers, and the sails, I designed the sails on paper, made a drawing of each sail to be made. That drawing was then laid out on the floor with a chalk outline, and then the material laid over that chalk outline, and then sewn together, brought back onto the floor, and the outlines marked on it and cut, and the sail was finished that way. Today it's all computer designs, and the sails are cut on a plotter cutter, which rolls out the material and cuts the panels out for you. And all they need to be done is then put together with a double stick tape and the seams sewn on a machine.
Sounds so simple.
It sounds simple, but it's still labor intensive, but not as much as it used to be.
So you used to be on your knees, really down on the floor all the time. But
absolutely, crawling back and forth and rolling the material back and forth.
When you started, did you have the big tables like you have?
No,
in
there were no
room?
table. You just used the floor. It'd be a wood floor, and you used awls to hold the material in place while you drew lines on it. and it was just labor intensive. And we put it together with double stick tape.
Okay.
And this is called high attack tape. So we don't even sew the seams. We can do a little grapevine stuff here. Peel off and the next panel. They're all numbered, so I know which goes with which.
So after they're stuck together, then you stitch it?
No, this is not sewn. You know, the
No.
edges are sewn and the reinforcing of the corners are sewn. The rest is not.
Together. How many years have you been using this tape as opposed to sewing it?
Actually, probably in the last 10 years. The heavier sails are taped together with a less adhesive tape, and then they're sewn.
Okay.
So, but the light sails, you can get away. Here is a two pieces of material, and you can see it or not. The tape's in there. You can try and tear it apart. It will not come apart. I don't care what you do.
No, it's secured.
Where we sew the seams on the heavy sails, and you can see there's long roller things, and it allows you to take the sail and put it in here, and you have two rolls. Sew the seam, and you unroll it, and you get to the next seam and keep sewing until you're done with the sail.
What would be the biggest sail you've ever done? Can you?
Probably for about a 60-foot boat. I mean, actually, I didn't make, but we've made here a sail for the Canadian training ship that was quite large. Sail cover, because the sails, the thing that does a sail in is being in the sun, which of course they are all the time, but when you're sailing, but during the week when you're not, the sun working on rotting the sail. So you need a cover protection.
Okay.
And this is an acrylic material, Orlon.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably are familiar with the sweaters that are all made out of acrylic. And it holds up in the sun fantastically. This one happens to be a covered background, a coated background, which is less expensive than the acrylic. Some people like to save money.
Mm-hmm. So how long do these sails last?
Depends on a lot of things. The Dacron sails, if you're just cruising, sailing, general light stuff, they'll probably last you 20 years.
Okay.
If you're racing, the racing sailor wants the sail really new and hold its shape. So it's out of racing condition after 3 or 4 years, but it's still going to be around for another 15.
Okay.
But not for racing. This is a one design class called the Starboat, and it's 22 feet long, 2-person boat, and it's, of course, just for racing. There's no luxury below bunks or anything. It's just in the boat, and of course, you get wet, and
And One of those is you?
I'm in the white shirt, and the crew is in the red, and he's hiking, which you need to sit up on the high side to make the boat stand up straight. Yeah, here's one with one. That would be black, but that's where that goes on the bow of the boat. Because when they're sitting out there waiting to get their boat out of the water, they're always bumping into something, so it protects it. The World Championships in Cleveland, Rocky River, and there were 98 boats there in the corner. Then you put this brass liner in that took the wear and tear from the rope.
Time intensive.
Oh, very time intensive. It's all stainless steel press rings.
Just knowing that you have to look at where you're going all the time and that you have different levels, you're stepping up and down and over all the time, it seems like that has really been helpful to you to keep your agility.
I think so. And I think also the sailing I did was an athletic boat, and that all helps in keeping me loose. Plus, I ice skated quite a bit, and that helped a lot with my balance. My balance is still pretty good.
Because you didn't just ice skate too, didn't you do dance skating?
Yeah, we did
well?
some dance skating on a lower level, not like the TVs.